that's maybe a third interception.
Dude, that was a perfectly thrown ball.
Yeah.
I mean, he had perfect coverage on him, and Antonio Brown was Antonio Brown on the play. Was the best player in the NFL, or the best receiver in the NFL.
Yep.
Ward played it perfectly. Look, he can give up that play all year long as he keeps making all the other plays that he did, because he was impressive. And not only the picks. What do you have, 2 picks yesterday?
2 picks, yeah.
Which was nice. But, I mean, watching the game at home, you really didn't hear Antonio Brown's name a whole bunch.
No.
And the Juju, whatever his name is.
Juju Smith-Schuster.
Yeah. When he was playing out on him, he didn't have any big plays.
Yep.
So Ward seems to be the real deal, man. I have to say that was surprising how good he was. And he's surprisingly good on the run too. I was a little kind of like, oh, let this guy not be another Joe Hayden that only plays the pass, and leaves us with a big hole when they run the ball. Ward was right up in there, man. He played really, really strong yesterday. He, to me, would probably be if I was handing out game balls on a tie, I would have given him a game ball yesterday, because he played extremely well.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing that we noticed too, is that whenever, his guy was thrown to, he was always right there. I mean, I can't think of one time that he got torched.
No,
I don't think there was a single one.
No, not at all. And
I mean, and that first interception, he's like diving on a wet field with a wet ball. It's like, holy crud, man, that was beautiful.
Yeah, no, he played really well. And who played really fairly well, but really nobody's talking about, was the right side of the offensive line. Did you notice you did not, every time there was pressure on Taylor yesterday, it came from them getting around Harrison. And now part of that was probably they put their best guys over on the left side because Harrison was a rookie.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened.
But the right side of the line played pretty damn well. There was not a whole lot of pressure on him from the opposite side. The plays that Taylor did make, all were made because he was able to stand in on that side. I thought they played really a lot stronger. They're not getting any attention today at all. But I thought that they played really, really well. And I think the fact that Harrison was like he was out there on roller skates for half the game is part of the reason that we didn't notice that side of the ball. But I thought they played really well.
I would have liked him to hold the blocks a little bit longer. I mean, I know Tyrod had a lot of time to throw, but it just seemed at points that it didn't feel like he had that much time watching it live.
Yeah, he's got happy feet too. The key with line blocking, and here I'll teach you. I'll give you a lesson to kind of pay attention to.
Right.
When you're watching, and I love line play. That to me is more exciting than any big Hail Mary play that the Browns will ever do. I love watching that. I'm like John Madden. I'm watching guards pull and stuff. I'm like, oh, look at that block, that interior lineman. I love that stuff.
You've been perfect in the 50s, man.
Dude, I would have been, because I love watching that stuff, and it is impressive when a left tackle or a left guard pulls all the way around to the right side and frames up a block so that there's a seam down the side. That to me is awesome, because of the strength and the power and the speed that they have to put together all at once to do that kind of stuff. But,
and then there's me. I played quarterback in JV, and I was like, and so I'm just all about the quarterbacks.
You were just like, don't let me get hit.
Oh, dude, I was such a running quarterback. Like, I had a good arm and everything, and I was accurate and everything, but. I was definitely like, oh crap, here comes somebody.
Sure, throw it. But the thing to watch with a guy like Taylor, who has happy feet and likes to run, is watch for penalties of illegal man downfield, because they can only hold the block so long, and once the block gets by, if the guy gets by, they have one of two choices. They can either try to go back and get him, or what happens sometimes is they just blow by him, and then, they end up a step or two across the line, and they get hit for illegal man downfield. That's why you get that penalty all the time with running quarterbacks, because they run around. These guys are only trained up to keep to hold that block for like 3 to 5 seconds at most. So guy like Taylor running around 8-9 seconds, half the time they're looking for somebody to hit, and they end up meandering too far down the field. That's why you always get those penalties with those kind of quarterbacks. So, and I think we had one yesterday. I think I only remember hearing it one time that we had an illegal man downfield. And I was like, that's really not too bad for a quarterback like Taylor.
Well, especially when he's running for almost 80 yards.
Yeah.
Like he's your leading rusher.
Yeah, that's got to stop. But I mean, I thought line play minus the first quarter was okay. Not great, not awesome, but certainly good enough.
Well, I think it definitely improved as the game went on, for sure.
And I think Harrison will get better. I don't think he's Cam Irving out there, that's for sure. He's definitely better than that.
Yeah.
But, he'll get better. Again, what was he? He was bagging groceries or something 2 years ago. So, we'll take what we get with this guy. But I thought he played okay. He played okay.
Yeah.
I
kept thinking, and I actually commented on Facebook with somebody today. It was Merle. And, somebody's like, oh, you still think Khalil Mack isn't worth 2 first-round picks? And I'm like, yeah, 'cause we need a friggin' left tackle. And maybe somebody on the right side, too. Like, if it's not like we're the Packers or, the Saints where, if you're one dominant player away from being the class of the league,
dude,
we need a ton of stuff.
Would
Khalil Mack on the opposite side of Garrett be great? Sure. But, I mean, when you're talking about protecting your potential franchise quarterback, I'll take those draft picks, man. Because, the line play was good, but it's not like, we're replacing a Hall of Famer. And, I think people sometimes forget the fact that the blind side for our quarterbacks, as bad as they've been, it was never a concern with Joe Thomas for, the 10 years or 11 seasons, whatever it was he played. It's like, you need that. So I don't know.
I've watched a good amount of Khalil Mack, last year with the Raiders, and that first half yesterday, two first-round draft picks. I wouldn't even blink at that. That guy is Lawrence Taylor great. The Bears are going to win 8 games because of him, and they would have won 4 without him.
I doubt that.
I will put a dinner on that with you, my friend.
I'll take that bet.
That guy, the combination of him and that, what's his name, Roquan Smith?
Roquan Smith, yeah.
Roquan Smith, they didn't even start him yesterday. They brought him in because of an injury. He comes right in and sacks, whatchamacallit, Kaiser. Like one play, first play of his career, he gets a sack. He just wait till that guy learns the NFL a little bit, and then you're going to have what I'm talking about with Garrett and Khalil Mack. But now you'll have it with Roquan Smith and Khalil Mack. They are going to be dominant for 10 years, dude. That I would take Khalil Mack.
I think for me, like giving up a first-round pick 2 years in a row, I don't know. I just don't think we're good enough to be able to give up, elite players like that, especially. And I think my thinking on that is a little biased because, I'm a Baker Mayfield fan. Mm-hmm. We haven't seen him yet, but he sure as hell looks like the real deal. And then you see what Denzel Ward did, and let's say that's the type of player he is. That proves that finally we've got a front office that can get elite level talent in the first round, and I don't want to give that up. Look at how that has absolutely crippled us.
True.
For the last 5 years, none of those goddamn players are on our team, and so now if you give up 2 first-round picks, it's basically the same as drafting guys that busted, which as we have seen, is a death knell for a team.
True, but if you want to look at the draft picks, let's look at the draft picks. One of them sat on the bench, one of them was inactive, one of them had 3 carries, and who was the fourth? And Denzel Ward played great. So you had one player in game 1 that did anything.
Well, I don't think you can count the Mayfield thing because we knew that was happening. Before the draft even happened, they said, Dorsey wants a veteran quarterback to mentor a young guy, and then a bridge guy. So we knew that was the plan. But I wanted to mention this when we were talking.
Hold on. Hold on 1 second.
Okay.
So we'll take Baker off the table, and two of your top guys that were drafted in the top 35 players of the draft didn't produce.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Chubb wasn't even in there. I mean, I think that's going to be different as the season goes on. But I was going to mention this when we were talking about Corbett earlier, but I do not understand. And you can probably explain this to me since you got a hard on for offensive linemen or something. But
us fat guys stick together, man.
Right. I resemble that remark. Now it's like they drafted Corbett and he played left tackle, and yet I've never understood why teams draft guys. They play one position. They go, oh well, we think he can actually be this. Well, why don't you just go draft one of those? If you think Corbett's going to be a guard, he's a left tackle. Go get a goddamn guard. Like, I mean, I don't understand that. Like, why not try him at left tackle if that's what he played? Well, and you need one. That just seems – and then again, I don't know the reasoning, so maybe you can explain to me, but that just seems so stupid to go, we need a left tackle, so we're going to draft a left tackle. Let's play that guy at guard.
Well, it comes down to two factors, speed and strength. And more than likely, they evaluated and figured that – or found that Harrison has, let's face it, Harrison, Corbett, Bitonio, they're all going to be about the same power. They're all going to bench press 500 pounds or whatever it is that they bench press. They're all going to run about the same speed. So you take that kind of out of the equation. What it comes down to then for if the guy is good enough to be the left tackle or the left guard is his vertical or his horizontal movement and his footwork. And, that's why a lot of times you can't just take a right tackle and move him to left tackle because the first step, I mean, you watch enough football to know this, the first step that any of these guys take is with their strong leg backwards.
Yeah,
that's their first step. That's their plant. They plant right when they're about to get hit by some monster on the other side of them. So they take that first step back with their dominant leg, and that's why it's so hard to switch sides because all of a sudden your dominant leg. If you're playing right tackle, your dominant leg has to be your right leg. That has to be your first step, and that has to be your plant because if you plant with your inside leg and the guy does he goes around you like to the outside of you, you're screwed. One good push and you're falling over because you're planted on your inside leg and the guy has a shorter path to the quarterback. So you have to plant the outside leg first. And that's why they can't go back. That's why they have a difficult time going from right tackle to left tackle. From guard to tackle, a left tackle has to have a whole lot more horizontal movement because you really can't dictate where the defensive end is going to line up. They can line up three yards away from you, outside of you. And you're as a tackle, you have to line up within a certain spot, within the rest of the line. You can't just adjust like a cornerback does to a receiver. You have to be within so many inches or whatever of the line.
Yeah.
So you need more horizontal movement quicker to
more
be
athleticism.
Able to get out there where the left guard, no matter where the defensive end lines up, the left guard usually lines up in the interior line somewhere. And then the nose tackle right over or on left or right side of the center and then the other side of the line. So a left tackle does not need to have as much horizontal, but a lot of times needs to have a little bit more strength so that they can, push back or block out or block in or whatever to open a hole. So, the position play itself, a guard is more about opening little creases where a tackle is about saving your quarterback's life.
All right. Well, again, then draft a guy that does that. Don't.
Well, I agree. And, but a lot of times with these guys, what they end up doing is in college, the most athletic guy plays tackle. And again, it's like we were saying before, they're playing against guys that are not going to be in the NFL. So, or playing with guys that are not going to be in the NFL. So some big 330-pound horse